Hello everybody, I'm just playing the new library. Let's see here, let's have some things go away. I'll get my cameras up in a second. I hope you are doing well. What I love with this is how you can trick this out with reverb. Then add chorus. Very, very nice. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let's see. Let's turn this camera on. Hello. Oh, this sagged down a little bit. Let's get this up a little bit higher. Get this a little bit brighter. There. Welcome. My name's John Lemcool. I am a sound designer. I own a little website called plugandgoo.com. This is the live stream I create and do every Saturday. Now you have both a little visual of the keyboard as well as, let's see, let's get everything centered. I'm not centered on my screen. Go over here to OBS so I can visually see what I'm supposed to be doing. Go like that. Shrink this just a little bit more. There. And let's make sure when I call up the artwork. Nice. This is the two guitars I sampled for this library. And it came out very, very nicely. This is MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4, and I've given it the name Old Strings just because, well, you got to name a library something, right? And I didn't change the strings. I didn't want new strings. I didn't want, when I did MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3, I put new strings on the guitar, which gave it nice zing and so forth, made it bright, and it's a direct input version as well, so those two things made, let's get this microphone just a little bit better. Those two things kind of made it like a more brighter. I wanted more just like this is the guitar. These guitars have been friends with, my friends have owned these guitars for many years and played them and taken them with them on journeys. And there's just a lot of character to them. And I've been honing my sampling skills and taking advantage of all the capabilities of UNIFY. So this is a library which has the guitar itself, which is right here just by itself. There's 2 or 3 round robins on every note. Let's kill the chorus. So it sounds different when you play each time. The sample maps for this is a lot more elaborate. I did a lot more additional notes up in the upper range. All the way up to B, which is way high on the guitar. But a guitar doesn't sound realistic until you add noises. So there's 2 layers of note off, noises, and squeaks. And we are using Trigger Box, which is a MIDI effect inside of UNIFY, added 25% for the squeaks, and I think it's 75% for the note offs. So you just get these random, and there's like multiple samples on each of these key ranges for the different notes and so forth. So when you're playing, it makes it so much more realistic to have just, because guitar players are more than the note. There's the note off, the stopping, the sliding from frets to frets. All those go into the components that make you go, oh, that's a guitar. And then on top of that, there's harmonics, which I've never been able to play, but I've been working on my guitar playing and gotten to where I can play harmonics fairly well. So there's both, on the steel string guitar, I was able to get, this is Tanglewood. This is the guitar I sampled. And if you're, this is a pretty decent tune. If you play right in here, you can get a harmonic. Let's see if I can get this close enough so you can hear it. So you get that sound instead of the open string sound. So, and then up high, an octave up, you can get the octave up harmonic, right? So I have both the so you got the normal pitch. Then you have on the steel guitar, and then you when you take the mod wheel all the way up, you get, and because of the way UNIFY works, thanks to Shane and his wonderful designing of this, he set it up to where with this MIDI on and off, it can actually let other notes ring while you're playing other notes. So I can play a guitar chord, then slide this up to the harmonics, because guitar players, they like to do that. They play the chords and they go and they do the harmonics and stuff like that. So there's two guitars. This is Tanglewood, the steel string, and then there's also Ventura, which is the so these are the two guitars. Here, by the way, here's Ventura, if you want to say hello. Hello, Ventura. But I can't play it. So, by sampling it, I can... I can play it. So it's kind of ironic, you know. And then for this library, I wanted to take it farther, get as much bang for the buck for you, all you guys, and make it as flexible as I could for lots of people, not just people that need just a regular guitar. Bliss is something that we came up with for the MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3, which is this really lovely reverb that comes in. Right? And I have that down here as just, if you go down here to where in the library, when you get the library, there's 88 patches. I put in the core of the library are these patches at the top that don't have a Z before the name. So this is just the guitar by itself or the samples by themselves. So when you get to like Ventura Guitar Bliss, This is just the Bliss reverb by itself. But if you come up here to, there's a series of patches that say the. These are the patches which have the guitar, the harmonics, the note offs, in this case, the Bliss. Right? And then both the steel string and the nylon I recorded through tape effects. In fact, in a live stream last week, we did one of these. Was it 2 weeks ago? 1 or 2 weeks ago. It's been crazy weather and stuff like that. And the steel string also has up here Tanglewood. See, here we go. I did them as like this. Right? So you have both the, and by the way, if you hold down the sustain pedal, these are looped. So, it's looped. And so one of the extra patches down here is the, right here, tape noise 1 and 2. So you have the tape noise by itself. Without the guitar at the beginning, I made separate samples where I move the sample start later in. That way you can layer this with anything. I could go over here and I could say add an empty instrument layer, and I could say keyscape. And I could add keyscapes, pianos. Let's say over here, let's go to like, well, let's use the double felt, which is really lovely. Let's do a shimmer wash. If I went just to the dark, so you can layer these with anything. If you want to make really cool pads, call up like Vital, Vital. And this library is not ready to come out quite yet, but we're working on, let's see, do I have it? Oh, I don't have it even here to show you, but I could go to like, Back to the 80s is a library that released. Let's go to the pads or guitars. Let's see, plier, plugs. Here we go, some pads. And then take this and like filter it. Right? So then bring this down in volume and bring up the tape a little bit more. And now you have a tape version of Vital. Here's without the tape. Add the tape. And it's not an effect. And so the effects are cool, but sometimes the effects interact with other notes that you're playing. Like, that's one reason why I did this, is because like the guitars, having the effect in the samples, it will overdrive if you use a tape effect because they have distortion and saturation and stuff, right? But here it's just one note sampled with the effect. So it's a whole different kind of a vibe to it and stuff like that. So, and then after you get past the core of the library right here, oh, there's one more thing to show you. The Bliss I made into a pad. There will be a future library of nothing but like massive epic pads like this. That's one of the things I want to do this year. But this is an example of what that will be like. I mean, just huge. And then last week during the live stream, we had a blizzard going on outside. We still do. In fact, check this out. My neighbor knocked on my door and said, "Hey, can I ice skate at your house?" Because our driveway, my driveway is, as you can see, solid ice. And she's like, "You have the best driveway in the neighborhood for ice skating because it's like solid ice. Even though it's sloped, we had so much rain coming down that froze as it rained that it's just an absolutely incredible sheet of ice on my driveway." So my neighbor Meredith was showing me some of her skills as an ice skater. I mean, that's what it's like here in Portland, Oregon right now. So pretty amazing. She even did some spinning tricks and all sorts of stuff to show. And so it was crazy. So last week during the blizzard, we had this really crazy, like snowy rain being pelted against the window from the wind. And it was a cool sound. And so I took my little field recorder and little Tascam guy. This is the Portacapture X8. I just went right over here by the window and recorded it. So you have that as a layer as well. And then below that are all the Z patches, and there's a whole bunch of them. That tape effect I added to the intimate piano that's inside of the standard library. The thing I did that was really fun. I'll show you all these guys in a minute, but these dream tapes came out so cool because what I did is the tape effect. It affects the tonality of the guitar, right? It gives it the wobble and stuff, which sometimes you want. So if you're doing a chill track with a slow tempo and nicely, good thuddy drums and stuff like that. Well, if you take the tape noise and then you use the guitar on a separate layer, but then you can now add reverb to the guitar and it's not affecting the tape. So, and on layer 2 or page 2, you've got filter cutoff for the guitar. So you got all sorts of different cool layers. The BPM stuff is really fun. There's some nice things like a right? And then phrases and song ideas is something I was late by a day, and that's because I spent 2 or 3 days doing these phrases and groove ideas. And I wanted to take it to completion instead of releasing the library and needing to bring these out later. I didn't want to not do these things. So, yeah, Bliss has a vibe for sure. So these are grooves. Now, the grooves are different than the idea. So the grooves are MIDI files that play a certain chord, and they don't change. So you can play... and it's just going to stay there and do its thing. Let me get the keyboard up so you can... By the way, I should do some promotion, right? So this new library is available at my website. So you can go to plugin. Let me get this centered so it's all nice. If you go to pluginguru.com, let's see, I'm over here. So here is pluginguru.com. If we hit the home button, the very first library that shows up is right there. MegaMagic Guitars for Old Strings. It's at 50% off. So you can get 2 guitars for a crazy low price that sound really, really nice. Plus all the stuff I'm showing you. This is for UNIFY, so you only need to have UNIFY for this to work. I got it all to fit in 1 GB of memory for both guitars, which is kind of cool. Most companies that do guitars, they do a lot more samples, they do a lot more details, of course, but they end up being like super, 4 to 8 gigabytes for a guitar. This is 1 GB for 2 guitars, so it's very efficient. Now, on page 1, it says chord right here, and right here it's telling you what chord is playing. And you can go over here, and you can change from major chords, and then so you can cycle right? If you play it right and sequence it, right? So you can change the chords depending on the voicings that you need for chord progressions. So it's not the same as playing the chord, and it can, until someday maybe we will get to that. That's a long ways away, because that's complicated. But to have it to where it analyzes your chord and goes, oh, you're playing minor, so it needs to play this file. Someday maybe we'll get there. I don't know. It's not a priority for us at this moment, but you can automate switching between these chords. And then I did 2 versions of each chord. So the sad chord, and there's drums, so you can turn this on. Right? Right? So there's a sad, and then there's happy. Different production, different drums. I'm happy. I'm walking up a mountain. Same like ballerina. And the MIDI files for these, I went through and carefully sculpted them so that it's rolling the chords when there's all the notes playing at once. So it sounds like a guitar player. Because one of the big things that makes guitar is that it's 6 strings, and a guitar player cannot play all those strings almost at once if they like really strike it fast and stuff like that. But that rolling effect to your ears is what kind of is another clue that it's a guitar. So if you're just quantizing a part with guitar, go back and adjust the sample start, or the note starts for each of the, I can actually show you. Let me see here if I go over here. And if we say open from recent, this is the, so let's do this. Here's the patterns right here. Let's see, don't close. I think my microphone might go away. So let's do this. If my microphone goes away, it's okay. If my microphone goes away, all right, do we have our, oh, we gotta go over here and say mono, 4, there we go. So check this out. Here's the patterns that I created for this bass and the guitar. And so you can zoom in to see, let's go like this and play. Let's go to one of the ones that has more of the chords and stuff playing. So that would be like this. If you zoom in, see how everything has broken chords going ups and downs and so forth. That's what gives it the vibe of being a guitar part. So once I did the MIDI files for these, I went through and would clean up all sorts of things to get it to where it felt musical, that it had that. Let's see. I need to go over here and mute this. Oh, that's right. This messes up sometimes because I get the audio. On this computer, it changes the settings. So if we go Mac speakers. Now, can you see that over in? Yeah, okay, so that's fine. So there's MIDI files for drums here as well. Now, Sad Disco, same MIDI file, but now it's playing the minor 7 chord. And I tricked out the guitars and made it faster. And I had some fun. I added a CC writer, which is adding effect changes and stuff. Here's on the drum tracks. Check this out. Let's see. It's playing along. And build up. So you can get these effects that happen every 8 measures. Snaps happen every 4. Here's a snap. So for just little breakdowns in the rhythm and stuff, you can do fun stuff like that. Right? And so that's a sad one, but it's still happy because it's fast, right? And then happy finance. So these grooves don't change chords. It just sits there on these chords. Right? Trippy. Trippy kind of vibe. And then Casa Riviera. Taylor actually said, this sounds like a Sade track, so. Right? So, and then Sunset Temple is kind of a little bit different because I'm using the harmonics. Really cool vibe. I really like how the harmonics sound. Right? So, and then drums. All of these had drums. So there's 8 different drum. And these are fun drum tracks. There's like 4 layers, 3 layers, percussion, congas. And it's just using sounds from the UNIFY factory library and MIDI files just programmed differently. There's lots of miles still to go with the drum sounds and the percussion that is in the library. Now these ideas, this is different. There's 5 of these for both nylon and then 5 of these for steel string guitar. These are more like song ideas. So this is doing the 2 minor to 5. Now there's no drums, there's no bass. So you could like put this onto a track and then on another track, add drums, add percussion, get a bass playing and stuff like that. Now you can transpose them, but it transposes all the chord progressions and stuff like that too. So it might do voicings that don't work for what you want to do. You get to play and experiment. These are totally license free, so you can do anything you want with them. Took a lot of work, so much time spent getting it to play and sound more like a guitar, you know? So there's 5 of these. That's only 3 then. Oh wait. I love this one. All sorts, ready for chill, all sorts of stuff like that. Dorian jam, D minor to C major. So those are nylon ideas, and then steel string has there's also let's see, do I have it here? MIDI velocity. And if you want to be a brighter guitar, just go to the Flex EQ. You get a lot of energy with our EQ. It's just wonderful how it works. So you can get to be a little bit more aggressive in the mix if you need it to be. Candlelight. Need a fireplace, crackling and stuff. So there's 5 ideas. Right? I did do one thing, and this took a whole day all by itself. I took both the nylon and the steel string, and I made down here at the very bottom of the list these 2 jam patches. And this puts it all together. This puts the whole library together. On the mod wheel, you have a drum groove, and you have the nylon guitar jam. And you can actually go over here and choose which of the 5 songs you want to play. So if I move... As you see, I have a bass in the left hand. Then in the right hand, you have the other guitar. So if it's the nylon, then you have the steel string guitar in the right hand. So you have like the whole groove to jam with. And I tell you, the video walkthrough is partially not done because I started jamming with these and time disappeared. So they're really, really, really fun. The steel guitar jams have the steel string guitar song ideas. Right? And a bass. I mean, you could totally get lost for like crazy amounts of time with these. So this puts the whole library together. It's a really special map routing to get it set up so that I could have the groove play and then play up here. And it doesn't start and stop the groove and stuff like that. And I set it up. I actually did it a couple times to get this layout the way I wanted it. The right hand is a UNIFY layer, which means I can open this and I can choose anything I want for the right hand. Right? I could go down here to any patch in the library. And choose that, or I could use any plugin. So I could go to any library inside of here. I could go to anything and call up, you know, a vocal. From any library, any place that I want. The bass is its own separate layer right here. So again, I could go over here, I could call it Vital, I could call up any plugin to be the bass. If you open up this UNIFY, this is the drums and the guitar part that's playing. The guitar phrase, you could open this UNIFY layer and change it to be any patch that you want. If I want this to be the nylon, all I gotta do is choose a nylon. If I want this to be the piano, let's go down here to the... Anything I want, I can put into the spot because MIDI box is outside of this UNIFY layer, so I can set up anything I want in here. Drums as well, so I can go over here to Rad Bad Beats. Let's go down here to the BPM RMX stuff and go over here to UNIFY, like load layer at a time, click a couple times. Who knows what you're gonna get? You can change it to any groove in any library, so. So it took a lot of brain cells to figure out how to do that and get it to work. So that is partly why the library was delayed a little bit, because I wanted to make sure I got this sussed out so it's really easy for you to replace any component, put the whole library together and get the stuff to go, something like that stuff. So there you go. It'd be cool if you ever did a video showing you sample an instrument and bring it to life in a final UNIFY expansion. Yes. We've done some of that kind of stuff a little bit. But yeah, I plan to do that at some point. Probably more of like, it would be a video on sampling. I want to do some videos on advanced because, hey, Bob. Good to see Bob Dead is in the room. Let's see. I'm just looking at the chat. I haven't been looking at the chat because I've been like just kind of engrossed in showing this. How much did you go the library prices? The library prices increased about 5 to 6%, and then it varies depending on what library it is. Since this is 2 guitars, and most companies are like $129, $149 for 1 guitar. I think I'm still in a very reasonable price at retail for both guitars, and it's 50% off to everybody right now. So, yeah. Hey, Days, good to see you all that are in the chat. I want to show you something that's kind of cool. So let's do this. I'm going to quit this song file here. There, that should get us back here, and I didn't use I didn't lose. So that time closing a Logic file breaks Logic, but it doesn't break UNIFY. Whereas when I loaded a new Logic file, it broke the UNIFY standalone. So trying to learn how everything works and what breaks and what's not going to break and all that kind of stuff. It's always interesting. But I want to show you something. Check this out. I did a little thing for the video walkthrough that I mentioned that I'm working on. Make sure that this looks good so you can see everything. Down here in the user library, I made a patch which takes us through kind of like the history. So this is volume 4, and volume 1 was originally done. Actually, let's do this. Let's go one more layer. Let's call up Omnisphere. Let's see. Let's go solo to this. Omnisphere. The very first version of MegaMagic Guitars was first done almost 10 years ago, I think, like 8 years ago, something like that. User directories, MegaMagic Guitars, part 1. And as you can see, now Omnisphere only lets us have one sample across the keyboard. So you couldn't make the guitar. We made lots of synthy weird stuff because that's all you could do. To get it to actually play, you had to go to multi-mode, go to the user directories, and go to MegaMagic Guitars. Do I have them in here? Why don't I have them in here? Oops. Well, anyway, if I had them in here, it would play the 6 samples of MegaMagic Guitars. And what it would sound like if you did that is right up here. Because inside of UNIFY, for the UNIFY version of this library, we're able to get all 6 samples across the keyboard in one patch. Something Omnisphere is not able to do because it's just one sample in a patch. So this was what I sampled 10 years ago for the first library. Here is the guitar that we sampled for MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3. And I didn't do enough samples up high. So here's MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4. So, come a long ways. Nylon guitar. Here is the nylon guitar from MegaMagic Guitars Volume 1. With very clunky note offs that I did, and I didn't high pass filter them. And we didn't do a nylon for MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3. That was the acoustic bass, which is really, really cool in that library. I love that. But here is MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4 nylon. So, come a long ways from this to this. You can layer the two together if you own both libraries, and it's lovely that way, you know. Lovely, lovely when you start layering all these guys. Same with the steel string guitars. If you have MegaMagic Guitars Volume 1, and then you add MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4 to this, they complement each other very nicely. So it's not that I'm embarrassed with Volume 1, it's just because it was designed for Omnisphere, it only could have a max of 8 samples across the keyboard, period, because you have 8 patches in Omnisphere as your limit. So that limit really curtailed how accurate we could get. And then the guitar that we sampled for MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3, it's really nice. And if you combine this with MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4, get the balance about right. Very nice. So the libraries work together, but you can also see the progression of how I've improved with my sampling and with what I've been able to put into these libraries. Really, really nice. There's actually one really cool patch I want to show you. In the Z patches for MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4, let's see here. That's the BPM and stuff. When you get to the guitars, there's a couple special things here. Since we're just showing multiple guitars, let's do this first. This is the 4 guitarist ensemble. So for this, I'm picturing that there's 4 guitar players playing. We have a really cool technique called shift, which is able to shift the samples but transpose them up, so you end up changing the tonality of the guitar. Like this is the shifted version of the nylon. Hear how that shifts it? Really interesting. But if you put that with the other guitar that's just not shifted and then pan them left and right, so that's just 2 nylons. And then I did the same thing with the steel string. And if you unsolo this, you have 4 guitars. And I have even the harmonics, so you can And then these Eternity guitars are really, really cool. There's both steel string and nylon. This is guitar and pad. So these are designed more for like the EDM music productions, where you have like a singer, really airy, lots of processing, singing. Then the mod wheel. So you can do that kind of production, you know? And I'm using a cool thing. If you go to the synth layer, which is Battleborn, I have lag turned on at a fairly decent amount. So you can make this slower. or super slow if you really wanted to. It's like a... Or you can make it really fast and it just responds. So it just depends on how you want to use it, but be aware of this parameter and use it accordingly for how you want to use it. It's flexible for doing all sorts of cool stuff like that. Hey, Jim. Advancement is obvious. Thank you. Thanks, Doobs, my friend. Anyway, it's a good library. Came out very nice. Very, very happy. Ugh, my eyes are watering a little bit. Any questions? If you have any, pop them up into the chat. Love the guitar. Good. Thank you, guys. Glad you like it. There's something else that came out for free I want to point out to you guys. That's from the Crow Hill Vaults. Let's get this up and running. They have a new update to the Vault plugin. And it's ironic, at the time I'm releasing this, it's a shimmer guitar. And let's do this. Let's call up something like... let's say steel string. Steel string thing I think might work well with the... And then say new layer. So we're going to add a layer to this. Let's solo this layer to start. And let's call it Vault. Okay. They have a number of instruments now that are in Vaults. And each time you download the same updater and re-update, it will give you new ones. So they have the Celestatone strings, the Attic Grand was the first one, and then here is Shimmer Guitar. And let's see, we need to transpose it down 1 octave. So let's hold down Option. Now, it's nice by itself. My big issue with this is that they're really into trying to... There's something about sample editing. It's really important that you get it to where you feel like you're playing the instrument. And when there's really a big gap, which makes you feel like you're playing recordings. It doesn't feel like you're connected to the guitar. And if you really want to hear this, how much of a gap there is, layer this with something that is edited properly. Hear how late it is? So it's really hard to use because they didn't sample edit this to where it's playable. It feels it's hard to actually feel like you can. It's just enough late, and there's no controls here to change the sample starts. So you can't get it closer to the actual where it. If you look at the sample waveform, you can clearly see where there is something going on. Because it's acoustic guitar or electric guitar, maybe the amp noise was, I don't know why it is, but it's just... By itself, again, it's okay. It's when you start layering it with other things that this becomes a bigger issue. And they have this really interesting shimmer effect that's got like, it's kind of like the Magic Motion stuff I've done. It doesn't work quite as well. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just because it's electric guitar. It's a cool sound. I mean, if you like this, then it's free. So it's hard to complain about something that's free. I just want to point out the sample starts is unfortunate. Yeah, so it's available for free from Crow Hill Company if you want that, but be aware there's an awful amount you have to do. Basically, in your sequence track, you'll go in and you'll like pre-delay it so it plays back the MIDI notes early. But I think different samples even have different amounts of delay on it. So yeah, it was Air Studios on a Les Paul. They booked the place for something and then it got canceled or something like that, I guess. So they needed to fill in some time. Sample editing is a religion, and some people have this religion where it needs to have gaps in any possible energy inflection of the energy going into the string. That's a different approach to where I want to make it feel like it makes me feel more connected with the instrument if I'm playing it. And it feels like when I'm playing a guitar and it's right there. So just it's differences of religion. Neither one's like they're it's different ways of doing things. So would love a lap steel. Yeah. Thank you, Arnie. I appreciate that, man. Any comments from Jazz is asking RIP Spectrasonic Stylus RMX. It's a legacy product and gets no further updates or upgrades. I think that they actually did update it. And to me, it's still totally usable. I love Stylus RMX. And you could take something like this. Let me give you an example. I would suggest going over here first to the transport and setting this to like manual start and stop. So that way playing keys won't send clock information to start or stop Stylus RMX. And then open up a new layer and say Stylus. There is an update for it right now available. So it's not true that they don't update it. They are continuing to update it. I have a power pack. Is my power pack in here? I can't remember yeah, plugging with multis. So there's a power pack I did, like one of the third products I did in like 2010, I think, was a power pack for Stylus RMX, which gives you a whole bunch of multis where you could go over here and you could say like street and Latin jazz party and so it works for that kind of stuff. The way that I use RMX a lot these days is if you go over here and say multi-clear. The drum kits, I made a whole bunch of drum kits if you switch to drum kit mode. It's really nice for these different drum kits. There's Reggae Baby and that kind of stuff. But if you like go back to multi-mode, okay. The way that I use RMX a lot is I like to go over here to the let's see, the core library, and then down here to the groove elements. Here you have all sorts of incredible percussion, and because these are things that never change. If you need shakers, you need just a shaker pattern, and here's a boatload of shaker patterns, and they're great. So you can go here. The other thing that I love is chaos is still a wonderful thing to bring in here. Bring up the pattern just a little bit if you want to get some buzzes. get some buzzing, and then just bring this down a little bit. And then go to layer 2. Go back to the grooves. Once again, groove elements, congas or something. And then again, you can trick everything out here. So you could go over here to decay. Turn on chaos. I mean, so many places to take it still to this day. Right? I mean, there's all sorts of fun. Now the timing's a little weird. So go over here, time, turn on time designer. You can use one of theirs. Or I'd made some patterns down here. Where are those at? That's by the triangle. Straight. There's all sorts of places to still, this is still such a super top secret weapon actually for a lot of people, because you can get all sorts of rhythmic variations and stuff. Maybe someday they'll update it. I don't know. I'm not in the Spectrasonics universe, so they don't tell me what they're working on. They don't tell anybody except their own in-core people what they're working on. Who knows what they'll bring out. Weird Time is good. Jim, so MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4 is 50% off. So I've thought about the whole, I own another one of these guitar libraries. Do I get a discount? And I was like, no, sorry, because it's the same amount of work. It's not an update to an existing library's sounds. I'm not like fixing a few sounds and adding a few things to it. It's a totally new library. Took months of work and hundreds of hours to put together. So it has nothing to do with MegaMagic Guitars 3, except it's the next step in the library progress. I've improved my guitar's sampling skills considerably and stuff. I make it a nice, affordable price because I love all you guys. So, fellas in Spain, so there's discounts that way, but I'm not into the, well, I own something of yours, so I get a discount, I just don't subscribe to that because I have to do the work to make it's a large amount of work. So I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry, but I feel I'm worth that amount of money for the amount of effort I put into it. So there you go. How much now? It's let's see, if you go to the website, it can tell you, plugandguru.com. I showed it earlier on the screen, so I don't mind showing it what the page has. Let's go Plugin Guru Volume 4. Here's the library. To get MegaMagic Guitars Volume 4 right now until February 1st, you can get it for $36, which is just crazy. Nice of a price of a nice little dinner, and you've got yourself 2 nice guitars. 1 gigabytes of samples, all that kind of stuff. 88 patches, all the stuff that we have going on. So I hope you guys feel that is worth it. Thank you. I appreciate, because I stressed with some of that stuff, like, oh, so much work, like I don't want to do the whole like, oh, it's $99 and it's never on sale. It's not the way I work, because I like working with you guys. This is an ongoing process and all that kind of stuff. Thank you. Never sounded so good on a guitar. I love you guys. You're great. Thank you. It just feels so nice to play these. I mean, they play. Really, really nice. Came out very, very happy with how they turned out. A couple other things in the library to show you. If we get down here, I showed you the phrases and the song ideas. I showed you the eternity, the really cool. These are really cool. These are the Bliss, where I combined, because I did Bliss. I got carried away. I did Bliss to the guitars, and the harmonics. In fact, here, if you open up, check this out. There's 28 sample maps. Here's everything for the Tanglewood steel. I was very happy with my organizing. I organized this very well. So you have the bliss effects, you have the finger, that's the guitar playing, harmonics, harmonics bliss, low harmonics on the steel guitar, low harmonics bliss, notes off, and squeaks. And then you have the same things, except you don't have low harmonics. I tried so hard. I could not get the low harmonics to play. I couldn't get them to work. They just didn't ring out well enough to record and make into a sample map. So it's just harmonics and harmonics bliss. Here's the, and then the pad is just a harmonics bliss, I believe, from one of the nylon guitars that I looped. And that was really cool. If you haven't ever seen that, check this out. I'll show you how you do that. Let's go to UNIFY. Let's call it Endless Wave. And let's go to the libraries. I'm working with the wave version of the library here because I work with the wave and then I encrypt it before I get it to all of you lovely people. If we go down here to the samples, let's go to, that's the harmonics, bliss, nylon bliss. Here's harmonic bliss. So let's choose something like A2. And let me see, I gotta make sure this is routed over to audio when I play this. Yeah, so you can hear it. So check this out. These are sounds that fade out. So if we go up here to the harmonic bliss guitar right here, and that was the Ventura, so. It fades out. I had to sit and play every one of these and listen till they fade out to make sure that nothing cuts off. Now, normally when you are looping sounds, you're looping because there's a place where it's stagnant and it's just sitting there, right? This is a case where that is not available. The sound never sits. It plays, it grows. There's an area in here. The way that Endless Wave works, you hold down Shift and you click and drag, and that's how you make your sample start and end points. And then by using these different looping crossfade algorithms and by bringing in to be a large amount of crossfade, I can find this to where I find a place where I get just the right amount of fade in like that's not right. So I want to go over here. I need it to be more in the energy before it starts to fade. As you can see, it takes a massive amount of time to find the right place to where it does what it does inside of here, where it's, and it's frozen. It takes so long. It's not a fast process. But I did that because you guys deserve the best. And so you have Bliss as a pad. It's really cool. So there you go. Let's see, other things in the library. I love the phased out. stuff like that. I showed most all of these. There's some really nice pads. The Evolving Vox is using the Harmonic Bliss, but not the loop version, but the vocal pad from the Guru Standard Library stays, but you have this really cool evolving of kind of a vibe. And then I'm using a little special setup with noise box to give it just a little distortion, a little high frequencies. And then you just curve this down to about 10%. Just gives it a little hair, just a little bit. Let Us Pray is kind of fun. This is using the pad, which is right here, which is huge in and of itself. On layer 2, I'm using Morgan. And I'm using the attack and the release parameters to turn it into a pad, with just a little bit of high end going into both the Morgan Cabinet Leslie effect and then into Silky Chorus. And then on layer 3 is DX'd for an FM organ. Just gives it a little solidity and so forth. Put all three together and you're put into the pearly gates, man. Right? Primo. Very, very nice. That tape and something layering effect I did for 2 warm pads. So if you do chill down tempo music, off you go. And this is using tape 2. The difference between the 2 tapes, by the way, tape 1 is an emulation of like a cassette tape, and tape 2 is like VHS tape. So it's a little bit more hi-fi noise. And again, you can just option delete the pad, and you have these all set up with a nice tape. This is filtered a bit. It's not as bright as it normally is. Or no, it's about. Yeah. Oh, am I using? No. Yeah. Tape 2. Nice. I'm like, what did I do to make that sound so good? It's just the way it sounds. So you can retro out anything in your setup with all your computer plugins, anything like that. Again, instead of UNIFY, I could go here. I could say Zebra and call it Zebra. And I could go here to our patches and find some sort of a, I don't know, pad. That's not a pad. There we go. Right? So anything you want to tape effect out, it's very easy. Just replace layer 1 with whatever you want and off you go. All right. I hope this has been helpful and fun. I thank you all for support and for grabbing the library, this beautiful library. Anyone needing a discount on a $36? Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. I had UNIFY, but those are so much more just that. Now I'm tempted to buy so many of them. Well, you know, this is how I make my living, is by making libraries. That's what I chose instead of, trying to chase the YouTube algorithms, instead of trying to, there's some stuff I have in the works for this year. I'm hoping to enter more into other areas of plugin development. I can't say anything really more than that. But I love to make libraries, and this is how I pay my bills. I'm not making money to put into the bank and like have a huge bank account. I pay my bills each month. Next month I release a new library. I have wonderful producers like Bob Deddes. We have a really great library coming out next month. In fact, I could even show that, give you a little sneak peek of it. That's called Uniflow from Matthias Sauer from Germany. Just wonderful, wonderful library. It's different in concept in that it's synthesis with an emphasis on adding like environmental sounds, kind of the, what is it, the ASMR kind of a sounds. So all sorts of really cool stuff like this where there's cool. So this is coming in February. In March. Oh, that's right. He did stuff with his wave drum. This really, really cool wave drum kit. And if you get up here to the BPM stuff, I mean, there's just some absolutely mind-blowing things. Hello, Bavaria. Hi, Frank. Is it Fish Swam? I just love this vibe. So this is coming in February. I have an incredible library from Bob Deddes that's coming in March. If you are into the space music, it's just like, wow. And during February and March, I'm moving. So it's really nice to have their libraries kind of in line so that I can be packing up. The studio's gonna come down. I'm putting stuff in storage, moving to Idaho to be closer to my family. Wanna get a little closer to my mom and dad. They're getting up in age, and I just feel like I want to be close to them. So that's going to be happening in February, March, and I've got so many other plans, stuff in the work. We're working on an update to UNIFY that will be out this year. Shane is working as much as he can. He's in the process of moving himself, but it will be a paid update. It will be the next update to UNIFY. There's maybe one more maintenance update that we will do. There's a beta already. I think it's actually been put onto the Ilio pages and so forth. But stuff's in the works, we always do stuff, but keep doing what we love to do. So, yeah. Thank you, Ken. I'm addicted to your libraries. Thank you. Well, I work really hard at my craft, and I am proud of what I am. God gave me this gift. I love to make sounds. I love to work and teach and work with other people that have the insight to make patches that when you sit down to play them, you know how to play them. And it's a skill. There's a lot of libraries out there you can buy of stuff that you play, and a lot of people make sounds for themselves and aren't thinking about other people sitting down and playing them. And so I'm gifted, and I'm thankfully finding other gifted people that see the same things, and thank God. I mean, it's my reason for existence, so but Matthias has the gift, Bob has the gift, Jason Schopfer in the house has the gift, Tim Dale has the gift. They have crafted their skills and their capabilities, and I am honored to get to represent their libraries and sell them at the site. So yeah, it's really good stuff. Smash the like button. Oh, cool. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, I discovered this a long time ago. I was working at a music store, and as a gift to the customers that bought from me, I would make sounds on like for the M1. I made a library. Here's a cute story. So the M1 had come out, and I was working at a music store in Seattle at the time. And the M1 came out, and there's a gentleman from Southern California named Ben Dowling who would come by probably once every 4 months, every 6 months as a product specialist. And he would bring new sounds for remember the Korg DSS-1 and the DS-8 and the 707 and the DW-8000. And we sold all of those at the music store. And then the M1 came out. And I did a bank of patches for my customers because I sold probably, I sold like 30 or 40 M1s in the first couple months that it came out. And so for my customers, I made patches that I would give them. That was one way that they would buy from me instead of from other local music stores. This is before the internet took off. This is before there was Sweetwater. I actually had a couple of people that could get it cheaper in Chicago. And I'm like, go ahead, buy it in Chicago. But then when you come back with tech support questions, I'm not going to help you, right? I made this card and I made these patches. And then M1 hit. Ben was like swamped because he couldn't cover Southern California and Northern California and Oregon and Washington. He was West Coast product support. And he's like, dude, I need to refer somebody to Korg for a job as a product specialist like what I'm doing. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah. And so unbeknownst to the music store, I did a red-eye flight to New York, and I did a dog and pony for Jack Hotop, Kim Holland, Larry DeMarco. Ben Dowling was there because he was there for some product meetings or something like that. And they asked questions about what samplers I liked, and the Korg Kai S900 was out, and the talking about sequencers and DAWs. They were impressed. They said, you're hired. I'm like, cool. So I moved to LA and got set up and started doing product specialist work. And I got to know the people that did the voicing. Jack was one of the guys. He's like, hey, if you have any patches for the M1, send them to me. So I sent him my card of patches that I made for my customers in Seattle. And he's like, these are great. I'm going to send these to Japan. So he sent them to Japan, and they wrote to me and said, dear Skippy-san, because I was Skippy. I got the nickname Skippy at Korg. Skippy-san, we really like these patches. Could you please do the drum card for the M1? So if you go to Korg M1 and you call up, I think it's the second, third, fourth, fifth card, the drums card, all of these patches are the patches I did in Seattle, Washington for my customers. So Babylon. And this was 1988. So I did all these patches for the M1 at my music store in Seattle before I had started with Korg or anything like that. And then I did the drum maps for the, and because I could do the drum maps and stuff from this point on for the T series, the O1W, the Wave Station, I did all the drum programming, all the drum maps, all the drum patches, all that stuff, plus lots of synth sounds and samples and so forth. But the first voicing I ever did came from me actually doing patches for my music store customers and then sending them to Japan, and all these things, 2150. Yeah, so that's where it all started. And, before that, my parents owned music stores, and I got to see the DX7 introduction and learn from the DX7 and stuff. So this is what I do, and I love doing it, and I'm thrilled that I'm able to turn it into a way of sharing my love for making sounds with all of you guys. So yes, Korg has introduced a lot of really cool new stuff. The Wave State, which has my patches and actually has Plugin Guru samples, is now available in a tabletop along with the Mod Wave and the Op 6, which is really cool. They've got some other new synthesizers. It's very, very cool. They're doing some stuff. So yeah, so I'm here to share my love with this with all of you guys. So it's a beautiful synergy I have with all of you, and I appreciate our relationship. Yes, they're having a busy year this year. There's some good stuff going on for Korg, so I'm very happy for them, and I continue to work with them. I didn't work on any of the new stuff, but I've been happy working with them. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, somebody else mentioned another synthesizer that I worked on that, if you don't know about this, let me see if I can find it. Plugin Alliance. I believe, let's see if they still have, they have a sale going on for those of you that don't know about this on Kinefonium at Plugin Alliance. Instead of $300, it's $49.99. So after you buy the guitar library, buy the guitar library first, please. But if you want one of the most crazy software synthesizers, and I was in charge of the voicing team to a certain extent. They had some other people do work as well, but this is an incredible synthesizer. And it has patches in here from myself and from Airwave. Both of us worked on this. So if you go over here to, I think, is it this page? So let's see, author. This synthesizer has a filter that will just rip the hair off from anything. Plus it has ring mod. Both ring mod here as well as FM level ring mod. So the sounds that you can get into with this are just I scream when twisted. Turn the FM mod knob. Let's see what I do when I move. So this is a $299 synthesizer you can get for $49 right now at Plugin Alliance, and it's a license for Eternal. And I did patches for this many years ago, not many, like that's like 4 or 5 years ago. But it's a cool synth, and it's very different from any other synthesizer that I know of inside of Software Land. I mean, it can have this really unique. Airwave also came with some just. Really cool stuff. So if you want something new in software synthesis, a physical version of a Kinefonium is like, I think $11,000. I've talked to Hans Zimmer. He has 2 of these, and it's like, I love this synthesizer. It's very, very cool. But you can get it in a very close adaptation. I don't know how close it is because I haven't A/B'd with the physical real one. Hans was like, I'll send you one of mine. I never took him up on that offer, but it's really, really, really a cool synthesizer. And for $49, it's pretty much a no-brainer if you want something of unique other. you get all that chirpy. You don't hear this in software synthesizers very much. So if you're into this kind of stuff, the LFOs also can go incredibly fast. They can go into, like, here, check this out. I'm a little over time now, of course. Let's see, I think I had a knit patch in here. Did I? I usually like to, no. Default, here we go. So check this out. Let's have this do pitch modulation. So if we, I think we're just on one oscillator. Okay. Here's your LFO, and you can set it to fast. You can get into frequency ranges that are just unheard of. And inside of UNIFY, that's modulatable because you could put this into a UNIFY layer and then modulate that. So let's go to the LFO. I mean, it's crazy. That level of speed. Normally, this is like maybe the fastest that your LFO and software synthesizers go. That's where fast starts. And then you get into all this crazy stuff. So it really is a unique synthesizer in the world of software synthesizers. So if you want something fun to play with, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Nimbir. I'm good. Oh, I have one more thing to show you. Let's do this and we'll close it with this. Let's see here. Let's go to guitar. Last week, not everybody can say this, but I'm blessed to be friends with my ex-wife. She is a good soul. I care for her very much. She's a good friend. And we went on a hike, last week, to Trillium Lake, which was frozen, and it required snowshoes to get in to. And so let me get myself off the screen. I'm going to play guitar and play this little movie for you, just for a fun closure. In fact, here, let's do this with Bliss, maybe. That'd be nice. And I don't have audio because we were talking and laughing and all that kind of silly stuff the whole time. But here, let me get, let's see. We'll have this go away. And I'll have this nice and small in the corner so you can see that I'm playing. And I bounced this out at 3 in the morning, so I can't promise it's like everything is supposed to be, but it was an incredible walk. 4 miles round trip. Here we go. There. That's a nice way to wrap up the show. So thank you for your support. It's an honor to be able to create stuff for you guys and hang out with you and share moments and life. And, you know, this is an adventure. So make it the best we can, right? So let's do our shout outs. Shout out from Portland, Oregon. As Taylor is saying, if you need any help, UNIFY support at pluginguru.com. We are here 100%. We're here for you. Shout out from... Did I spelled Portland wrong. Oh, no. Shout out from Portland. There we go. Studio City, Ryland, my brother in the house. I hope to see you in LA next week. I'll be in LA for the NAMM show starting next Wednesday. I am flying Taylor down. He is going to be initiated into the NAMM show experience. He'll be at the Ilio booth with me working. So I hope I can see you, man. Hey, Ted. Welcome to your first live stream, man. It's really great that you're here. We have a lovely community. Everybody loves to hang out and share life and thoughts, and we welcome you. Thank you. Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, thank you all. Hands together, head bowed. I'll have the video walkthrough for this library tomorrow released, or maybe later tonight, depends. Here in the United States, it's a playoff weekend, football games with big teams. San Francisco is playing, and my daughter is actually working at the San Francisco game. So I gotta watch the game in case maybe she's on the screen. Which I don't think she will be, but yeah, shout outs. Look at that, UK. This is the part we love at the end. I love doing shout outs and seeing where everybody is at. Yeah, so Essex, UK, London, Santa Cruz, Lemon Delight in Wickenburg, Lower Saxony. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Les in Poland. Good to see you as always. We got someone from Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, dude, it must be so cold up there. Good to see you, Arnie. Nice, 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 nice. Shout outs from France, from Yves, and Sylvain Morlan is also... Morlan? I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. Marcel in Holland. Mark in Colorado. You're getting some snow, I bet, right? Anyway, thank you all for joining, and we will see you. There won't be a live stream, I don't think, next week, because I'll be at the NAMM show. So we'll have that week off, and then I think I'll be back the week after that. I will have brought my trusty little tiny video recorder with me to capture all sorts of video of what we see and all that kind of stuff. So let's see. Hello. Hello. Oh, now it's tracking my face. Oh, great. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you again for joining. It's great to see you all. Thank you for your support. Buy the new library if you can. If you need new guitars and beautiful layers and all the yummy stuff that we did, it came out so cool. Sonic Heaven. All right. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay. Cheers, everybody. Bye.